Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today is a huge video because I will be remodeling my entire toy room. For the entire time I've been on the internet, one of the constant things I usually post is my room. I'm a huge toy collector and I've been collecting for a very long time, and my room has been through many iterations in the past. And in the past 6 years or so, I have shared the evolution of my room with you guys, and now I really want to take a very big step and actually remodel my entire room. I've been sharing my room with the internet since I was about 19 years old, and now I'm about 26, and I feel like the person I am has fully formed, and I would like my room to really reflect that. So today's video is going to be exactly that. And that means I will be taking everything down, painting the walls, getting new furniture, and that's why everything has to come down, which I'm so sorry for the clickbait title. I am not doing anything crazy, but we are indeed taking everything down so I can remodel my room and take my room from this to looking like this. So if you're interested in seeing how I did this entire process from start to finish, from categorizing my toys all the way to painting the walls and getting all of the stuff back up, please stay tuned for the entire video because I will be covering everything. This was an entire month-long process, which is why I haven't really posted anything in the entire month so far, because I have been fully focused on remodeling my room. So let's get on to remodeling my toy room. So the first part of this process was taking down all of my toys, and this took me quite a bit because every single item in my room is secured with museum putty underneath, and I needed to just take off all the putty under every single item in there. I like to make sure that all my items are really secure, and that is a way I've always found that things wouldn't fall or topple around and just stay in place. Obviously, my biggest fear when taking everything down was that something would break or even fall. And things definitely did fall during the process of all of this, but luckily nothing broke, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. And despite this looking like a really crazy task, this was actually very satisfying for me. I really enjoyed putting all of my collectibles into boxes and even just re-looking at everything that I own. Like, man, you really don't realize how much you have until you have to put every single item you own into a box. The whole process of taking all the toys down from my room probably took me about 2 whole days, but luckily nothing was too hard to deal with, except for maybe my food corner. It was much easier to store away some of my figures and my keychains and plushies, but the second it came to my smaller objects in the food corner, I definitely started struggling because, wow, I have such small items. I mean, I don't know what I was expecting. I literally collect miniatures. But I really wanted to make sure that I didn't lose any minis in the process of this. I would be devastated. So to help me organize them, I ended up buying these tiny little like travel boxes, like they're travel kit boxes, but instead I just put all the miniatures in there, and that just safely stored them so I knew nothing would go missing during the process of all of this, and I just kept all the miniatures together. I had been saving really large boxes to put all my collection in, and this is just the miniatures box. Like, this is just all the minis that I own. And then the other boxes were just filled to the brim with my toys. I put all my Barbies together, I put all my plushies together, my anime figures, everything was just put in a designated box so I just would know where everything was. But it was crazy to see it all here. Like, this is my room in boxes. I think it was like in total 10 boxes, 10, 15, somewhere around there. And yeah, this is what it looks like. Like, this is just the stuff that was on my walls. My room does seem like I have a much larger collection because of my posters. Like, when I took my posters down, I realized that visually my room is not as insane as it may look in photos, just because I feel like the posters take up a lot of space in my room. So once I took them down, I realized this was a far less daunting task than it may have appeared in the first place. But yeah, so here is my room in boxes. I had even more boxes like out in the hallway, but here was just some of them that had like my plushies and my dolls and some of my vinyl figures. It was just really cool to see. I had a fun time looking at all of it in boxes, just all together. And here was my room once it was all taken out. All that was left were my shelves to take out and my bed. And it was so crazy to see my room so empty. Like, nothing's here. I also realized how sad I was without it. I went a couple days with my room looking like this, and I was just so sad being in here. I realized that my toy room really brings me so much happiness, so seeing it empty was definitely something I'm not used to and kind of made me a little sad. I don't know. I was really excited to put everything back up. But this is what it looked like, and then I went ahead, just took off the last bit of shelves. We then took apart my desk and my side table, and we just started removing everything out of my room. And I had a lot of holes to fill up. Like, I have thumbtacked these walls to death, the amount of posters I had up in my room. But once I was done, the room was looking empty and vaguely horrifying. It's a really creepy picture. But now we could actually begin painting my room. Now, the biggest inspiration for this room makeover was that I wanted to have a really cute, like early 2000 pink striped room. I think those are so cute, so I picked up 2 different shades of pink from the Home Depot, and we went ahead, bought the paint, bought the supplies, and got ready to paint my room. Now, the first step in painting my room was to paint the entirety of it one color, then we would go on top of it and paint the stripes afterwards. This would make the painting process a 2-day endeavor just so we can get the stripes perfect. We then started masking up the corners of my room and the light switches so we can make sure that we don't get any paint anywhere else. And once the room was prepped and primed, we were fully ready to start painting. And this was just the fun part. You just slather on paint all over the walls until it's completely one color. So we started off by painting my entire room this hot pink color, or as my dad said, Pepto-Bismol color. And we did this so we can paint the stripes on afterwards once this entire room dries. But I also wanted to make sure that this room had some accent walls because I didn't want the entire room to be stripes. I feel like that would be a little too overstimulating. So the walls where my door is and where my window is will remain this hot pink color, while the 2 walls parallel to each other here will have the stripes on them.
Yeah.
Won't be till later on in the night.
Okay. So we get I got it.
Good boy.
You see your pencil?
Is it? Oh. What?
11 3/4.
So now that it was the next day and my walls were completely dry, it was time to paint on the stripes. So we calculated the length of my wall so we can figure out how far the distance between each stripe should be and how thick each stripe should be. And this part pretty much relies on your personal taste as well as the length of your walls. But a tip I can add, and that was really helpful during the entire process of this, was a tip that I had actually learned through garage kit making, and that was to make sure that your paint does not leak underneath the masking tape. In order to make sure that doesn't happen, we put on an extra coat of paint directly on top of the masking tape, just to make sure that once we paint on our final coat of pink here, it would come out nice and clean and it wouldn't leak underneath our tape. I hope that made sense, but basically you should be priming the edges of your tape so the new color does not leak underneath it, because it will look all bumpy and not clean. And I'm glad we did that because when we did take the masking tape off, it did look really clean. But painting these stripes was definitely the easiest task out of everything we've done so far. It was pretty much the final step in painting my walls. I went in with a much lighter pink because I wanted there to be some contrast there. And yeah, I thought this looked really good. Like, even before it was all finished, I thought this was looking fantastic. I was already so excited. Once we finished, we let this dry for about 2 days, and then we came back to it to take the masking tape off for the final reveal.
Wow.
And would you look at that? The lines are super nice, super crisp, and they just look so good. I was so proud with how this looked. We took the rest of the masking tape off and we were completely done. This room, after what was I think like a whole week endeavor, was finally done and was ready to be furnished back again with all of my toys, which I was so excited for. But here's a final reveal of what the room looked like, completely empty with the stripes. Is that looking fancy or what? I think it looks amazing. And yeah, I was honestly so scared to even put things back up in my room because I was like, wow, this just looks perfect. Like, I have no idea what I'm gonna go or do from here. But I was up for the challenge, so let's get into adding everything back into my room. So one of my first tasks was that I really wanted to fancy up my room a little bit more, so I re-spray painted my shelves and I revamped some of my other shelving as well. I knew I was only going to put a couple of posters up, but I wanted to make sure that they were framed so these also looked a little more fancy. I bought these frames at Hobby Lobby and I spray painted one of them gold. And I also picked up some wood accent pieces that I also spray painted gold to glue onto some of my shelving. For the layout of my room, I actually took some masking tape and mapped out where I was going to put each and every single shelf, and this was just helpful so I can visually understand where everything was going. A really big upgrade was that I bought this corner cabinet shelf made of glass that was honestly, I think, the best thing I've ever bought. It looks amazing in here. And it saves me a lot of space. I put most of my expensive and favorite collectibles in there, and I feel like it looks a lot like a really cute storefront. And that actually ended up becoming my main source of inspiration for my room. I started taking inspiration from these pictures in particular. I wanted my room to feel like my own personal toy store, and I wanted to have a very professional, almost museum-like quality to it. And I truly feel like it was all coming together. The room definitely looked like a mess for a solid week. It was absolutely insane re-seeing all my toys, but putting them back up was really fun. But it did take me a really long time to decide exactly where everything was going. I was very particular where I wanted everything to be, and it was definitely not an easy task, I will say that, and there just was a mess absolutely everywhere for quite a while. But once things started getting cleaned out, once I started realizing where everything was gonna go, you know, it was starting to come together a little more, and I was really enjoying it. I went to the store and bought some more picture frames, and I also got some new shelving too. Hobby Lobby just had a lot of intricate looking designs that I liked, so I also picked up one of these shelves as well to put into my room. A big upgrade was also getting a lot more lights for my room. I purchased these magnetic lights off of Amazon and I placed them on my ceiling, and it just added some extra dimension and light onto some of my collectibles, and I loved how this looked. I think it looks absolutely amazing. I then put up a couple of the last shelves that I had, specifically my remint shelf, where I had to organize all the mini food finally and put them back in their rightful place. But once that was all done, we pretty much had the majority of everything ready to go. And I think it's about time to show everyone the final results of my room. So here it is. Here is what my room looks like. This is everything all put up, and I am so amazed with how it looks. I am actually obsessed with my room to an insane degree. It's not even funny. I definitely need to do another room tour in the future. I haven't done one in about a year, so expect a new one where I will go into great depth on every single thing in my room. When it came to remodeling my room, I knew that I was going to be downsizing my collection a little bit, just because I have really focused on making sure that everything in my room means a whole lot to me, and none of it is really spontaneous anymore. Everything I have has a very deliberate place, and I have it in my room for a very specific reason. So I would love to just go back in depth and look at every single thing that I own and really tell you guys why I have it and why I love it and what it means to me. I was very deliberate about where everything was going. I wanted things to be kept together in pairs, so I kept all my sets, like my Alien 9 set and my Nichijou set and my Q-Pot collection. Like, all of those items are together because I really wanted to display them together, and I also made little tags for everything. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but I also tagged a lot of the stuff because, again, I mentioned I kind of wanted it to feel a little bit like a store, and that was one of the things that I love about stores is I love you can look and see exactly what item it is and how much I bought it for. It's very fun. I think it's like a cute little fun thing to do. But yeah, there is this collection cabinet here, and definitely one of my favorite items in the room is just this full cabinet. I think it's so beautiful. And that was my room. To celebrate all of it, I made these 3 magazine spreads just to show off some of the details and everything that I posted on my Instagram. So if you like that, check it out. It'll be up on there. But that was my full room makeover. I'm just going to end the video around here because that's pretty much everything I had to say. So thank you for everyone who watched. I will see you guys in the next videos. I have a lot of stuff planned, so I will see you then. Bye everyone, thanks for watching.